What's going on, everyone? Today it's all about ginger. With me, as always, I do have the root fresh, and then I also have it dried in slices. Now, to start the overview, I did want to let you know ginger is a perennial, which means it will live longer than 2 years. Now, if you were to gather the root fresh, just be sure to do so for 1 to 2 year old plants. Now, as far as storage of the root, you will want to put this in a dry location because once it does begin to sprout, some of its medicinal properties will start to reduce. Now, from a culinary standpoint, I'm sure many of you have had this pickled, or maybe it's been minced and added to stir fries, marinades, glazes, or even vinaigrettes. Now, some of you probably even use the dry form as well, like the powder in baked goods for gingerbread, ginger snaps, or even pumpkin pie. Now, if you were to go to a health food store, you will also see it crystallized or even candied, which is one of my favorite ways to use it, especially let's say you have like an upset stomach or you're feeling a little nauseous. That is a more fast acting form compared to taking like the supplement form of it. Just a little side note there. Now, I'm sure, the big question is, why is ginger so like spicy, right? Or it has that burning sensation? Well, it's actually due to some of the constituents found in there. So for example, it does contain an antiseptic and an antiparasitic action. So it's really caused by those various phenols, right? And that's what gives it that burning taste. Now, in terms of other constituents, ginger does contain vitamin A as well as B3. It also has tryptophan, lecithin, lipids, fatty acids, iron, potassium, and starch. So just the fun fact, that combination of vitamin B3, tryptophan, and lecithin provide a mild tranquilizing effect. Now, ginger itself does have many therapeutic actions. So I'll only mention a couple of them today. So the root is an antipyretic, which means it will actually help reduce a fever. And then it's also an anthelmintic, which means it will help expel or get rid of parasitic worms in the digestive system, or the intestines rather. Now, it is also a corrective as well as a diuretic, a sialagogue. Now, that one might be new to some of you, and what that means is it will actually help to promote the flow of saliva. And then it does have a stimulant property as well. So as far as more medicinal uses are concerned, the root can be used for nausea, anything having to do with like the digestive system, morning sickness, or if you're someone like myself that suffers from like getting car sick or maybe motion sickness, this is another good remedy to use, right? And then it also helps too with a lack of appetite, or let's say you have cold extremities, you can also make a tea or an infusion, for example. Now, other preparations you can use this. You can create a fluid extract, you can brew the tea or an infusion, you can also use the powder form as well as a tincture. Now, as always, there are precautions, and ginger is no stranger to a few of them, actually. So, first and foremost, it does have an antiplatelet action. So, for example, if you are on an anticoagulant or an antiplatelet drug, you will want to consult with your doctor before using it in a supplemental form. Now, I always like to reiterate, if you do have this, let's say in a culinary dish, it's such a minimal amount that you'll be okay. But again, amounts that are exceeding those found in food, you'll definitely want to clear it by a primary care physician. And then similarly with calcium channel blockers, it does have an effect. So again, it may interact with those types of drugs. So just kind of a side note. And then for those that are pregnant, now there's a lot of controversy on whether ginger is good for those who are pregnant or if they should avoid it altogether. Truthfully, I would just consult with your primary healthcare physician. When it comes to ginger, you do want to kind of monitor the dosage as well as the duration during your pregnancy. Now, when I worked at a health food store, we actually sold ginger in chewable tablets, and it was probably one of our best sellers, especially for women that were pregnant, or again, those that kind of suffered motion sickness. So that form, even though it's still a supplement, it was fast acting, but I would even just clear it by your doctor before use, especially if you're pregnant. So that concludes the overview today. I hope you took something away from this video. As always, I do create these videos for educational purposes only. This information is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Thank you for watching. Until next time.